Congratulations on being appointed the next general of the largest SRHR organization in the world,
This
IPPF. You started as a youth activist.
too.
Tell me about the journey from there and to where you are today.
Well, I was born in Mexico. So in Mexico, around in 94, we have presidential elections. So was part of a group of young women that get together trying to find out what was the young women needs. So in order for us to be able to deliver these needs to the candidates. And one thing that we found is like many of the needs were related to having access to education, but also about sexual and reproductive health and rights. And that's the moment that for me that I found feminism. And I started working at the grassroots level, mobilizing young people, working on sexual and reproductive rights. And I didn't know it at that time, but the world was changing also with the international conferences on human rights, on women's rights, Beijing, Cairo, Vienna. And so I was very lucky that my very grassroots work was connected with the global level at the revision of the International Conference of Population and Development, the ICPD plus 5. And when I went to the international level as part of the reviewing the commitments of this conference, uh, different young people get together to the same process, and we realized that we were facing exactly the same problems that young women face: street harassment in Mexico and in Namibia and in Norway. So we decided to create a network of young activists for sexual and reproductive rights that is called the Youth Coalition. So one very important thing about the Youth Coalition it is still exists, a completely youth-led organization. So it allows us to have our own voice and our own space. And then when I became 30, I retired from being a youth activist, and I was very lucky to be invited to work at IPPF. So I started my journey really at the grassroots and then went to the regional level with IPPF, and now, well, as Director General of IPPF.
And now in this role, what's your vision for IPPF going forward, moving forward? What do you want to see IPPF become in the next few years?
I mean, IPPF is, as you mentioned, the largest sexual and reproductive health and rights organization. One core identity of IPPF is that we are service providers. In most of the member associations, we have 130 member associations that works in 150 countries. We are the main service providers. In 54 of these countries, we are the only sexual and reproductive rights organization. So my vision is that we are able to strengthen the services that we provide to ensure that they are high quality, but beyond that, that we also strengthen our identity as part of a broader movement that is not only about service provision, but it's about gender identity, it's about HIV/AIDS, it's about the sexual rights of elderly people, like so that, and we are already doing. And like one privilege of coming now to IPPF is that IPPF is already the organization I dream of. We just need to strengthen and to ensure that we have very strong roots in all the countries we work in, and also a very good way to connect together as a global movement.
Yeah. Sounds like a good place to start. And I also wondered here today, it's been kind of a mix between international and the national context in Norway. If you could give any advice for our politicians, for our government, what do you want us? What could you tell them as an advice moving forward, looking at SRHR, looking at, like we were talking about, the third legal gender? Any advice for us?
And for me, maybe a couple of things. The first one, especially talking about like a non-binary legal identity or third gender, my advice would be learn from the global south. Clearly, like countries like Pakistan, Nepal, Argentina, Colombia have been advancing on this issue faster than Norway. And this is a good example on how like the global south is not only the recipient of like great ideas generated in the global north, but actually like it is like, and that's the richness of sexual and reproductive rights. This is an agenda that is rooted everywhere else. So go to the global south, go to Argentina, go to Colombia or to Pakistan to learn on how they address the issues. And many cases are bureaucratic in terms of the identity number and how are we going to add this new factor. Other people had already solved it. So go there. And my second advice, or maybe it's more an ask, is keep your strong voice defending sexual and reproductive rights. Now more than ever, the world needs leaders that are unapologetically supporting the entire sexual and reproductive rights agenda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.